Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you this unknown generic HVAC unit that I have in my hotel room. This one, as you can see, is pretty compact, and it doesn't take up a lot of space in the room if I back up. You can see it's nice and close to the wall, and it's very slim, so that's nice. There's the side, it's very poorly mounted. You can see a bunch of paint coming off. This unit's kind of old. And the bottom, you can see all the wires. They're the 2 feet right there. See a bunch of wires down there. Right there is the main power, I think, yeah. And there's also a mouse trap. And yeah. And what's weird about this is that it looks like both of these can open. This one doesn't open, so you can see, look, it's just stuck. And there's like a medicine pill stuck in there, so that's just really gross. And, yeah, as you can see, the vent is also quite small. It's got these things, which I don't know the purpose of. This right here is kind of loose, as you can see. Oh, the whole thing's kind of loose. That's weird. And, there's this metal part right here leading to actually no outside part. There is no outside part to this air conditioner. HVAC unit. What's also interesting is that there's no intake grill on the front. It's actually on the bottom. You can't see it. I think it's behind this metal thing right here that I'm pointing to, or rather that I'm touching. And also what's interesting is that it doesn't have a thermostat. All the controls are on the unit itself, which I'll show you in a sec. But first I want to tell you something else interesting. This HVAC unit, you cannot control if it's air conditioning or heat. The building actually sets it different times in the year. So you have no control as to if it's blowing heat or cooling. So that's kind of a pain if you want heat but you only get cool. So I guess it's up to the building, not you. So that kind of sucks. Anyway, and here are the controls. I call this unknown generic because there's a logo right there. And there is no actual brand name. So I will never know, I guess. Come on, focus. There's the hotel room itself. And this one actually has 3 speeds. It has high, medium, and low. I have no idea what the switch does. So don't ask. And there's a temperature set. It goes from 50 degrees to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. I usually have it set around 65, and it's got a bunch of screws in there. And yeah, I wish they would just put a cover over this so you couldn't try to open it. That's kind of weird that they didn't do that. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and turn it on now. We're gonna start it off on low. There it goes. This thing's actually really quiet. It doesn't blow much air either. But it does cool off the room quite nicely. And let's see if we can see the fan. I'll just get my iPod Touch. Come on. What's also interesting is that it has this weird looking grate. You don't usually see that. And because of that, you can't see the fan. You can see all the cooling pipes down there. As you can see, it looks all gross. See, it looks like vomit down there. Not really. You can see more pipes over here. These pipes look different. I guess they have different purposes, I guess. You don't usually see that exposed. So that's kind of interesting. And, yeah. It is really quiet. See, if I were to stand all the way back here, like at the entrance, you can barely hear it. So, that's nice. And, I don't know what these hook thingamabobs are for. And, there's the view right there from level 3 of the Watson Hotel in Manhattan, New York City. Up there's the rooftop pool over that ledge. And that's Tower B right there. I am currently in Tower A, room 316. So, yeah. And also, what's interesting about hotel room numbers is that the first digit of the number is the floor you're on, and the second digit is the room number itself. So, I've always found that kind of interesting. And, yeah, you can't even hear the compressor unless you put your ear up to the left thingamabob. Or maybe if you put it up here. One sec. Yeah, I can kind of hear it if you put your ear up to it, but when you're just standing like right here, you can't hear it at all. And I don't know what that click was. Please ignore all the background sounds. It's just what you get in a hotel. And there's a lot of trash in there, which I'm not surprised about, because this thing has probably been put to use for a little while. And by the way, this Watson Hotel actually used to be a Holiday Inn. And, let's go ahead and put it on medium. You can definitely hear the difference. Doesn't blow as much air. I mean, blows a little more air, but you can't really notice it. Not sure if you can hear the wind, because it doesn't blow that much air, but it does cool off the room quite nicely. And, when I first got this room, it was by default set on high and the lowest temperature, which is 50 degrees. And, maybe this thing is the energy saver function, I have no idea. But I'm not touching that switch. Maybe it doesn't do anything, I don't know. I'm afraid to touch it, though. Wait a second. Oh. I never noticed. This right here is not the metal part, because it goes all along the wall. This right here is the metal part. All hotel HVAC units have that. And what's interesting is that usually the top is sort of slanted like you see in some of the other standard ones. But this one is actually flat on the top, and the grate is actually slanted. If you can kind of see that there. So that's really weird. And yeah. And unlike most HVAC units in hotels, you have no access to the filter. So I really do have mixed feelings about this HVAC system, mainly because it doesn't blow much air. But what the heck? Anyway, it's got a bunch of stuff that's ripping off here, which kind of annoys the crap out of me. And, yeah, because people just love to litter. Stop littering, kids. Anyway, I hate that there's a lot of trash in there. So, remember, kids, HVAC units are not trash cans. So stop throwing trash in the HVAC units. I hate it. So, yeah, let's go ahead and put it up to high. Even on high, it's not as loud. And on high, you can barely hear it, but it starts to make a little bit of a humming noise, as you can hear. It's barely noticeable, though. And if I go by the entrance again, you can still barely hear it. So that's nice. And what's also interesting is that the normal HVAC units don't usually have feet like this. They're usually just close to the ground and not really touching the ground. They're more like a wall air conditioner style thing that don't have feet. This one actually has feet to support it, which I think is actually a bit safer. I don't like how those other ones don't have feet, because then they could just fall. But they're secure. This one's secure too, but it's just, this is kind of a weird unit in my opinion. But it's okay. And it's New York, so who knows? Maybe they have different air conditioners, HVAC units than Massachusetts does. I don't live here, so anyway. Can see there's also a screw here and a screw here. These are actually hex screws. And yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear the air now. And there's also this little foam thing right here. You can see where the three vent sections are separated. And yeah. What I think is kind of weird about this is kind of like the one at the Marriott Hotel in what was it, Danvers? I forget. I think it was Danvers. No, it was Peabody. Like it had the whole thing was like a white or tannish color, and then the vent itself was like a darker color. Same here. So I think that's kind of odd. in my opinion, but, you know, it's just how it is in life. But, yeah, so far I do like this unit, even though it's a bit weird. Doesn't blow much air, but it does cool off the room quite nicely, and the air gets really cold, and it gets cold really fast, so I like that. And let's go ahead and turn it off. And the quietness is creeping me out. You know what, if I do this just enough. Yeah, I thought it made a clicking noise. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's if it's just on. Let me just turn this on for 1 sec. Yeah, listen. You hear that? So, yeah, that was the unknown generic HVAC unit in my hotel room. Thanks for watching. Peace.